Hey guys, welcome to the All Things Gratitude podcast. I'm your host, Nick Dorsey, and I'm excited today, coming live from Newark, which is right outside of Columbus, Ohio, in a nice hotel room with bad lighting. So sorry about that, everybody. But excited to have my friend on the show today, Damon Pistulka. He is the co-founder of Exit Your Way. And we've been networking a lot, and we came together, because we had manufacturing in common, and that's when how we first started talking. So it's just been awesome knowing Damon. And the biggest thing I love about Damon is he's a fellow Seahawk fan. So that's all I got to say. Go Hawks. Yes, sir. So Damon, welcome to the show, my man. I'm glad to have you on. I mean, you're another one of my connections that I've met in person. So that was really awesome, and I'm just glad to, know you and call you a friend. And I've called you a couple times for advice, and you're right on it. And I just, I appreciate that so much. So thanks, man. Thanks for being out there. Thanks for being a great connection and a great friend.
Well, thanks for having me on, Nick. It's going to be fun. I like to be on this side of the microphone once in a while, so to speak, and just get to answer questions, talk, and have fun. I mean, you're really the first connection that I met in real life. I think almost, if not the first, because we were sitting there at Jordan. There we go, Jordan.
Hey, Jordan.
Seahawk fan.
Yeah, another Seahawk fan.
Let's just talk about Jordan for a second. Jordan looks like he's about 25 and he's got 5 kids.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. I had 2 kids. I looked like I was 60. I don't know what the heck is. I was living wrong for some reason. But, but that it was fun. I still remember how we met when it was like I was at a Seahawks game, something, and you did something on LinkedIn, and I said, "Well, I'm at the Seahawks." I forget how it happened, but then the next game we hung out, and then just started hanging out at games afterwards, and then going back and forth to seats, and that's just a blast. It blows that we're not there this year, but it's the way it is.
I can tell you right now how it happened. It was that game against Tampa Bay, and I told somebody that I would put up pictures of Blue Thunder playing the drums and everything.
Yeah, that's what it was
on there. And then I was in whatever they want to call that thing where they have all the little beer gardens and everything. And I was sitting up there, and then you messaged me. Yeah, and you messaged me, and you're like, "Hey," and I'm like, "You want to meet up now?" And you're like, "No, we're already over here, but how about next home game," which was the next week. And we met that little, I want to say deli that was down the road.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Met at the deli, yep. And then we had a couple adult beverages, enjoyed our time, walked in, then I went over to your seats at halftime, and then I met Lene and all the people who sat around you, so that was kind of cool. So
yeah, it's good stuff. And then you go into the games after, it's just fun. And then seeing like you said before, the manufacturing background that you got. You were working in aerospace manufacturing, and we got some people watching.
Woo! Yeah, we got some people on here. Jordan thought it was funny. We're talking about his 5 kids and how young he looks.
I just can't get over it, dude.
Yeah, we got Batman on right now. We got my Randy Cooper.
Randy.
We have another Hawk fan on here. Cash. I worked with him over for Legends Casino over in Yakima.
Nice.
So we're together. Yeah. So really cool, man. So it's nice to have people. People have been very supportive of the show and everything. So I've been very appreciative for everybody, and it's been a blast. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you. But we did meet up for manufacturing. That's initially how we actually connected, and I found out your background, how you ran a bunch of plants and everything. And I believe you're vice president or CEO of a couple companies or something like that. But so we just talked. I mean, we kind of geeked out our first couple of conversations because we could talk that talk. So it was great.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're making, I mean, that place you're at, I mean, they still make cool stuff, but it's just, the aerospace industry is interesting. I started in manufacturing outside of aerospace, but getting into it and, seeing the stuff that goes into planes, it's really something. It really is. Cool.
it's amazing how they're made too, because the company I work for made everything from a big giant roll, and it went all the way out to pretty much a bulletproof, non-destructible part, and it was just crazy the different steps you have to take, especially with different types of resins, how you have to cure them in ovens and autoclaves and different temperatures and rise rates and everything. It just blows your mind away, because you're like, who thought of this? It's like
no
just
doubt.
crazy. Here's another one of our friends. He was on your round table here. So what's up, Curtis? So
yeah.
Anyways,
how does Curtis come up with stuff every morning? That's what I want to know. How do you come up with stuff every single morning that he has to think about it? I mean, I could never think about it that morning and still do it, even though he's doing it like at 7 something his time. But something that thought provoking every day. It's pretty crazy.
When you're an author and you know how to beat the ATS system, you have a lot of thoughts in your head.
Maybe.
Well,
Curtis is the man.
I'm just a maintenance guy, man.
Yeah. People that aren't following him need to be, because that thing hits you in the morning and you're like, oh, I better wake up now.
Yep.
So,
you follow him, then you go hit Joe Skeppy up there, and you can get some early morning comedy out of him. So then you can learn some finance things.
The comedy from Joe for me is really that he still thinks Batman would beat Superman, which that is not happening. I'm not even that big of a comic fan. I am a comic fan, but not a huge comic fan like he or others. But I'm sorry, Batman will not win. I'm sorry.
I love it, man. Before we get into a lot of fun and our Seahawk and football talk and everything, let's talk about Exit Your Way and how you can help companies out and what you do to help companies out, because it's very interesting on what you do and how you can help people. And it's a great system. And you got some great team members, with Andrew and Ira aboard, and it's great. So tell everybody what you do and how you can help out businesses.
Well, thanks. I wasn't quite prepared. I didn't know we were going to talk about stuff. I thought we were going to talk about the blue and green.
But we will talk about the blue and green. But I want you to plug your company. I want you to get a plug here.
Well, Exit Your Way. It's an interesting company, because most people think about consulting companies are going to go out and they're going to do a specific part in your business. You might get an accounting consultant or a leadership consultant or something like that. And then you're going to find that, and people are going to look at investment bankers or business brokers. They're going to sell your company, right? Well, what we did is we mashed consulting and investment banking together, because what honestly happens to a lot of business owners is they get close to the end of their time in their business, and they go, oh, hey, man, I'm starting to think about what I'm going to do after this. And maybe I should sell it. Well, they'll go and try to sell it or talk to people about it, and they'll realize that, man, my business is either A, not worth nearly enough money, or B, I can't sell it. And those things can both be rectified if you do a little bit of work in a few years before it, and then you can get the thing sold for the money you need and get it out and get yourself out that way. If that's your path, if your path is to sell or succeed or whatever, we come in, we help grow. We're going to get some growth going in your company with some of our people, your people working together. And then we're going to turn around and we're going to also then sell it when you're ready to sell it for the money that you need. And we use fundamentals to do the work we do, just like I did when I was managing companies run by private equity investors, and got some real talented people, like you said, Ira and Jeff Graham and Kurt Anderson and Andrew Cross, my partner, and just got some really spectacular people, Andrew Deutsch, that really understand the sales and driving those good sales and creating long-term value and good customer relationships. Because that's everybody gets into business because they're good at something, right? It could be you and I good at manufacturing. Let's go do manufacturing, right? We don't think about, to stay in business, you got to sell. And that's the thing. That's the thing that I don't care who it is. Selling and managing companies is what most business owners hate to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we love to do. So that's how we help people. And then we make sure it's worth the money they want when they get out, and we get them out. So.
And like you say, sell your business for 2 times to 7 times.
Yeah. And we've done it multiple times. I mean, we've done several now where we've a little more than that actually, where we've doubled the revenue in less than a year and then doubled again the following year. So I mean, you can do some pretty fantastic things if you focus your business the right way and do what you're going to do and get your people aligned.
Awesome, man. That's just sure a lot of people are very thankful to come across you guys. So I mean, it's a nice little surprise. And the big thing, we've talked about this before, is people don't realize how much they have to invest to actually make money. And sometimes they don't see, they're not really geared for the long term. They're geared for the short term. Their minds are now, especially manufacturing, we're like, we have to put out X amount here in the next 3 months. So their focus is at 3 months. It's not necessarily 5, 6, 7 years down the road. So that's awesome. So before we get in our big talk, we got Rod on. What's up, Rod?
Hey,
and then I'll say hi to this LinkedIn user. They know me, obviously. Hi.
LinkedIn user.
Yes. We got Curtis. We have Penny. Say hi to Penny.
Penny.
And Penny out of Dallas. Yes. Obviously, my friend Randy Cooper. He dropped a Tenacious D meme this morning, so I noticed you appreciated that one.
Tenacious D. What is it? The pick of destiny.
Yep. Then we got Batman on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jordan once again, saying hi to everybody out there. So
yeah.
So awesome, man.
Good stuff.
So,
it is good, and that's one of the things that LinkedIn, I tell you, if you're not using it like this, not necessarily being on video like this, but I mean, using it to build real relationships, you're missing out, dude. It's like, this is why people are being drawn into LinkedIn. I think the way they are, not just, posting where you work to try to find a job. I mean, that to me is inconsequential in the overall of what you can do if you really build a good network on LinkedIn and you're engaging with people, as you do a really good job of that, in building relationships and making real friends that you do. If I would have known that this was out here 5 years ago, I would have been doing it and been a lot better off because of it if I would have done it earlier. So
I think a big thing about it is, like you said, not necessarily trying to post for a job or not necessarily trying to sell right off the bat. It's just, you need to brand yourself first. You really do have to generally brand yourself first and generally want to talk to people.
Yeah.
I think people miss the key on that, and that's where it gets you, and that's where it goes. I got an echo going on, and I got nothing on around here. That's weird. So I got an echo on my end, but I got nothing else turned on. So weird. Oh well.
Yeah. But I mean, you really started that when we started to, there you go, taking the online offline, and we did it. And I remember Joseph was actually one of the first guys that I did a Zoom with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay. And this was, just when COVID was starting to come in and all that. And then it was like, boom, the Zoom just popped off, and everybody's doing it. And for meetings and stuff. But still, I was amazed at how many people weren't doing like you were talking about.
Where's Ron at? He can help you out with that. Mr. Ron Craig can help you with Bitcoin. He will help you out. He has all these people that are in his network that he will share with you. So just let us know.
Yeah, Ron Craig will get you the Bitcoin people.
I'll go back to my Braves game.
Yeah,
okay, we'll
keep watching the Braves.
Yeah, we'll hold on for you for a couple minutes here, Randy, just so you can just enjoy some conversation. we're not going to talk about a game that happened in Atlanta this last
a little bit.
Yeah. So no, it was that was one thing. On the show a couple weeks ago, I had Dennis on, and he was one of the first ones before Christmas I talked to on Zoom. Then we actually talked on the phone, I think, before we actually did a Zoom call a couple times, and then actually we might have met in person before we did a Zoom call. I think we did.
Know.
Yeah. And then being able to meet you, being able to meet Ira in person.
Yeah.
Then Jordan a couple times, Joe a couple times, friend Erica and Peter, as we call AKA Warhammer, met them a couple times in person. So, I've been very fortunate, and Russ Johns, Patrick Malone. I mean, it's been great. And the one person I haven't met yet, and I always say this, is Tina Oliver, and she lives like 15 minutes from me. And I have not met her yet. So it's just been nuts. It's just like the closest person I have not met, but these people all over the country been able to run across them. So it's been really interesting. So, but it's been fun and it's been cool. And when our times are meant to meet each other, we will. Yeah. I mean, that's just how it is.
You will. And it's just that way. And one of the things that this engaging and providing value to your network and continuing to try to provide value to your network and to the people around you. And really, so everyone rises when you do that. I really like that. When we were able to do that, and when you see others doing it, and it's just so you understand it once you start doing it and helping people, how it comes back to you twofold. It really does.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things that it just keeps me going. I still, to this day, I was looking at it again. My schedule this week, I think, has 4 or 5 calls from people I've never met before. Mm-hmm. And I met them on LinkedIn, or I met them because I met somebody on LinkedIn and I reached out to them and we're talking, or was engaging on LinkedIn and we're talking, and it is, just opened so many good friendships and opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Really quick, say hi to Mary Smith, who popped on. Thank you for stopping by and checking us out. We appreciate it.
Yeah, Mary, thank you. I saw that up there. I should have stopped, but yeah.
No, it's all good. No worries. I'm not going to stop you mid-sentence on that. No. So,
hey, I ramble. You've been around me a long time.
I know.
Until I watch football. I was thinking about that today. I said, some people, when they see me watch sports, they think, God, is that guy an ass or what? Because I don't say much. I like watching the game and get into them so much. But it's funny. It's funny. Because it was happening to me on Sunday again. It was like, oh, first game of football.
Yeah. Well,
you can't move.
Our oldest daughter was texting me, and I was being kind of short with her, and she texts my wife, and she's like, "Is there something wrong? He's being very short with me and everything." And my wife's like, "It's football season. We lost in February."
Yeah. It's like, that time of year, folks.
So, I mean, right now with everything that's going on, it's a good, it's a getaway. And I've always been this way. So, I mean, obviously, season ticket holder for close to 20 years for the Seahawks, and you're a season ticket holder also. And, and just with all this just going on, I just, can't wait to be able to do those things again. We're talking about, actually, even though I'm a big University of Washington fan, Arizona State's like right by me. So we're talking about just getting season tickets just to go watch college football there. And my brother, and take his, my little nephew, and get him started all in the football thing and everything. It'd be, because tickets are so cheap to college games. So it's kind of like, it'll be a lot of fun for him, so we're looking forward to doing that stuff when everything kicks back up here and everything, and we're able to do things like that. So, So our friend Rod is a Steelers fan, so he wanted to make sure we watched Monday Night Football and saw how slow Big Ben is now trying to escape out of the pocket. It's just ridiculous. So he'll get hurt by week 5. So.
Yeah, I thought he'd retired by now, but I guess not. I mean,
dude, he looked like a statue running out there, or at least walking.
Yeah, he was about 6 when he started, because he's been in the league for 20 years, hasn't he? I mean, yeah.
Oh, here we go. So my buddy Cash, between the Hawks and fantasy football, all the women in my house are on their own. Dude, he has a house full of women. That he's the only male in the house. I think there's like 5 or 6 women in that family. So this dude, even the dog's a girl, I believe. So he's boo.
He's tough, right?
Oh, okay. Bye, Randy. Nice meeting you, man. Nice talking to you. Oh, okay. Mary.
Hey, we
Mary's
may be a good coach.
fan. Buffalo Bills. They got
Buffalo. I mean,
they got a defense. So yes. Oh, our friend Kenneth, he typed a lot of stuff here. So yeah. So hey, connect with Kenneth. This dude's awesome.
Kenneth is one of those guys that writes like nobody's. It's just there's a few people that you see that are just outstanding, like word engineers that can put together stuff. Paula Goodman is the first. She always comes to mind because you read her stuff. But Kenneth is another one. You see the engagement on posts and stuff. He is so articulate and so thoughtful in his words. It's really cool. Really cool. I always enjoy seeing his stuff.
Yes, Erica Warfield is one that has just crazy. I'm just like, what?
Another one. Yeah, it comes right up there. You like that combination of words never came into my mind, and partially because my mind's kind of small, but the way they put them together, it sounds so good. It's just like it's really cool.
Erica wrote a recommendation about me and tied in a unicorn and all this stuff, and it actually sounded good. I was like, how does that work?
Yeah.
Like, awesome. Oh, wow, Kenneth. Wow. With the old oh, hell
he's
no.
right now in there. Joseph, what's Joseph talking about?
No, I gotta look.
Come on.
It's been a while. Oh, he just said, "Hi, Joe. Do you want to buy Bit?" Oh, it's probably the Bitcoin thing.
There you go. There you go.
Where's Ron? I mean, Ron needs to jump on here.
Ron was on when I was on earlier today, and he was pretty much on fire because we had Pete Alexander on. And Pete, it's so funny because Pete's lived like 20 miles from me, 30 miles from me, never met him.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like with Tina there, right?
Yeah.
But he was going through his he does a pendulum thing where you use your subconscious to help you make a decision. Just take a look at it anyway. But Ron was hoping that he could do that when his wife asked him to take the garbage out, and it would say, "No, honey, I'm not taking the garbage out."
Speaking of Pete is on the show on Thursday, so now it's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah.
So, we get a little stress relief hour with Pete.
No doubt. So the good thing about Pete, I mean, he was born with a voice to do this because his voice is so calming, just because he talks with that really nice tone and everything, and just a good dude. But it's fun.
Oh, he is. He's great. When I was able to go on his little winning business in life, I mean, that was a lot of fun. I mean, the podcast itself was 6.5, 7 minutes. But I think we talked for over an hour going around all that. It was just, it was great. I was in a weird transition when he did that because I would just moved to Arizona, just started my job. I was living with my parents, waiting for my house to sell in Washington. My wife wasn't in the basement. I was just living with my parents. Waiting for the house to sell in Washington. My wife and family still in Washington.
Yeah.
We had some conversations during that. I mean, it was stressful for me. It was just high anxiety because at that time it was like I came from Washington. That was the hot spot for COVID. Then I get down to Arizona, then that turned out to be the hot spot for COVID. So I'm like, I couldn't do anything anywhere.
Oh yeah.
I know I'm not the only one that went through kind of that, but it was just, then working from the office for 4 days, not going through proper orientation, not going through properly meeting all these people, then going home and said, okay, let's figure it out. It was like, whoa.
Yeah. It had to be something. And then now, I mean, you've had to travel for work a lot too. And that's, just those kind of things and being thrust into this head first through the personal and then the professional stuff that you get to deal with now. But
the travel's been weird because it's really interesting seeing on different parts of the country how they're dealing with this.
Oh yeah.
It's so different. It's not like the same across the board. It is just so different. I go to some states where you can't even go to a restaurant. I go to other states, everything's totally open. I go to other states, half of it's open, half of it's closed. I go to other states, everybody wants masks. Other states, it's whatever you want to do. It's really interesting. And, it's just, it is what it is, and you just go with the flow. But yeah, I mean, at first when I started traveling, I want to say into May, and a couple of my flights only had like 25 people on them.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, this is weird. Now they're almost totally packed. So I mean, it's almost back to traveling wise normal like that. But yeah, going to hotels and be honest with you, I was kind of freaked out the first couple times in hotels because I'm kind of like, are these really clean? Are they doing what they're saying? Are these people actually sanitizing the way they say they are doing it?
Yeah,
because you have to have a trust. You have to have a trust in the system. That's the thing, and you're trusting people you don't know. So, you're hoping. My health's been fine, nothing crazy. So, it's just I guess I've been blessed through all the travel and everything that I'm doing everything correctly.
Yeah.
So, but it's just been interesting. I mean, it's just people's reactions. Some people don't care. Some people are freaked out. Some people are like going in the middle. So it is what it is. So
yeah, it's one of those things. I think about it when this started 6 months ago. I thought about it a lot, and I look back. I don't know. I had a picture of my father and my grandfather here, and I was thinking back, through the generations for some crazy reason. And I think this just might be our generation's thing, whatever that is. We had the world wars, we had Vietnam, we had Korea, we had just a lot of things like that. The recession in the 30s, we had the recession in 2008 and 9 here, and I just think this is going to be our one thing that our generation remembers to the grave. Remember 2020 when we had the COVID outbreak. I hope it's one of those things. I sure as hell hope we don't have to deal with this more than once. but even if we do, even if we did, if we have to deal with this every year, we'll figure it out. We'll be fine. It's not going to be the same, but we will be fine. And you're a good example of that. So yeah. It's one of those things. But yeah.
Well, the heck was serious talk. How about those Hawks, man? Yeah.
I know. I was just like, I was bringing myself in downer there. It's like, we better start talking sports. So my big thing is, you've been to the practices before, right?
Yes.
So how the hell are these guys playing football? It's got to be like dead quiet in there. Or are they pumping tons of noise in there like they do in the practices?
For the games? Yeah.
I'm talking in the game.
I've heard some of these stadiums trying to pump in noise. Like, I'm sorry, I watched the Arizona San Francisco game. Go Cardinals! But that was
we're going to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. But San Francisco is pumping in noise. I'm like, I've been in that stadium. They're not that loud. I was like laughing. I'm like, it's never that loud there.
It's like going to a Bengals game and hearing a fan yell.
But then like the Seattle Atlanta game, they had no really noise in the background, or you couldn't hear it on TV. And I kind of like it just for the fact that when they score a touchdown and they're like audibling and everything, you can hear everything they're saying.
Yeah.
So it's got to be an edit nightmare for the people doing it live to try to edit out all the cuss words, because they're flying. But like when Russell threw the touchdown pass to DK Metcalf on 4th and 5, you're hearing the people clapping like, I was like, whoa, that's, you're hearing it. You're seeing a different side of the game, or hearing a different side of the game you normally don't hear. You wait to get those NFL films where they have the people mic'd up to hear this stuff, and now you actually can hear it. Yeah. So it's kind of cool that way, but I find it unfair. There's no home field advantage anymore, And it's something we talked about before the season kicked off. I said, what happens if some states like Washington says you can't have fans, but then you go on the road and let's say some team like who has a good home field, New Orleans, let's say Louisiana allows fans and that place is rocking. How is that fair when one team's not allowed to have fans, but another team is? So I think they need to go straight across the board. You're having fans or you're not. It's just but you know what? It is what it is. They're professionals, and they always say, supposedly, since they're professionals, they should be able to block it all out and do what they need to do. Yeah, but you know what? Even some of the pros are saying, we do feed off the fans. We do feed off the emotion. It is an emotional game. People haven't played. It is an emotional game. You do feed off the noise. You do feed off the fans. I mean, it just gets you pumped up. Your adrenaline just rushes, So, I mean, it's, people who've never played before don't understand it, and that's fine, but or people who haven't gone to a game either, because
no doubt there. No doubt there. Especially, and I've been to a couple other stadiums to see football. Yeah, a couple other stadiums for football. But the Seahawks stadium, it gets rocking.
Yeah,
it gets rocking. I mean, when you get into a playoff game, it is nuts.
It really reminds me of college atmosphere. And that's what I really like about it. I mean, to be honest with you, I like college football more than I like the pro game. And there's a couple of reasons why. I mean, I always say the players aren't getting paid, but whatever. Some of them are getting paid, but they're still trying to get to that next level. And the pure emotion of 100,000 people in there, a bunch of drunken college students, they're just going crazy. And there's traditions. There's big traditions in college football. So that makes it fun. And, the Seahawks kind of have a tradition, kind of like Husky Stadium. Husky Stadium has always been loud. It's always been loud, and it kind of never really was put out there, one, because there wasn't a lot of social media, back in the 50s, 60s, 70s when they were rocking 80s and 90s early. It's we're way up in the Pacific Northwest, and everybody forgets about the Pacific Northwest because it's the farthest point away from almost every East Coast city. So it's nuts. So I mean, but no.
Well, you talk about college traditions. Well, I was on with Andrew, my partner, Andrew Cross, and he went to Michigan, and we were talking with Walter Crosby a while back on live stream. Both those guys were in Michigan at the same time, and they started talking, and you could just feel this come out of some of these people that have gone to these colleges like that. With Michigan, what the heck, they hold 110,000 or something like that. And when I was living in Tennessee for a while, I was able to go watch the Vols play in Knoxville, with 100,000 in the stadium. It is an experience. I was able to go to Notre Dame when my brother was there for a football game, going to school, and some of those colleges, the tradition and the size of the stadium and the atmosphere around game day is crazy. I mean, even here in Washington, the UW, WSU, it's great. Even, I went to school in Dakotas. Heck, we didn't have near the people, but we had a good time on game day. But it really is. The college game is special for that. And the fact that in some colleges, you'll see the college players walking around, during the week and talking to them about stuff. But the ones that don't get paid so much.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always games I want to go to. I got bucket list. I want to go to Auburn, Alabama. I want to go to Oklahoma, Texas.
Yeah.
I'm right next to Texas now, so I can pop over there really quick and go to the Texas State Fair, and see that. Michigan, Ohio State. I mean, sorry, Andrew, but I am like 10 miles from the Ohio State campus right now. So we're right out here. It's just that whole Big 10 or Big 12, whatever they want to call themselves. It's like every school has that, big tradition. If it's Minnesota, Michigan, if it's Wisconsin and Iowa or whatever. And what's great about it, Nebraska, Oklahoma was a big game, I mean, it's just, that was always the one that was like on ABC, you knew you're going to watch that game back before they had 500 channels with every single college game on, and Notre Dame, Michigan, it was always Notre Dame Army, Notre Dame Navy, some of those just games like that. And, it's Army Navy. That's a game I really want to go to. I want to take my dad there because my dad was in the Army and the Navy.
Oh,
So
wow.
I think that would be a very, we've talked about that, and that game's so hard to get into. I've been trying for a couple of years to get into that game. So, I mean, this year is going to be, I'm not even going to try this year. But, it's something I really love. I've been to a lot of Oregon UW games. I think Oregon UW is more of a rival than UW and Washington State just because it's a border. Yeah.
Up in the Northwest, I mean, my kids went to Washington State. My wife, I love the college, but it's hard when you're in a remote school like that to compete with the schools that have a lot more money. It really is.
Well, that, and also, I don't mean this in any big way, but it's like you tell a recruit, you want to come to Seattle where you're on the water, or you got this weather, and you have 80,000 people in your stadium, or do you want to go over here where it's 45,000 people and it snows half the year?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's it too. You're in the middle of nowhere, and not nowhere, but you're in the country, and it's harder to recruit. It's hard to keep people there, but these college traditions are really something. They really are, that's part of the thing that I think we're going to see come back stronger than ever when it does come back. And the cool thing is, I saw somebody had built a tailgating driveway because they couldn't go to the games.
Oh, nice.
They got they put the grill out there. They got the canopies up. They got places for people to set big screen TV on the side of the house. And it was awesome. I was like, hey, make the best of it, man. Gonna have fun. Tailgate. Hey, what'd be better than tailgating at your house?
See, next week, this Sunday, since it's a Sunday night game, it's actually my dad's birthday. So we're going to be over there. There's going to be a prime rib on the smoker. We're going to be in the pool. We're going to be just doing everything there. And, we'll have the game on, and our goal too is when our whole backyard's done, hopefully in a couple weeks, we're going to have a TV out there, the barbecue, the smoker, and we're just going to do everything in the backyard because where I live in Arizona, you can do that for 8 months out of the year. Without interruption. So we're going to make the best of it. I mean, that's all we can do. I'm not planning on flying back to any games this year. I mean, if they open and they do a full stadium, I gave my tickets back this year. Just kind of knew it was just going to be a cluster.
Yeah.
So, I might jump in with somebody else's extra ticket or something for a game. But, it is what it is. I'm hoping they let fans in the game down here in Arizona. I think it's on the 27th, or October. So, hopefully we can get into that, but who knows what's going to happen, So, I mean, it's unfortunate. This year's kind of
but so how did you think Russell looked?
31 for 35 is not too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, he did really well. It helps when your offensive line blocked really well, which we haven't seen that in years. So that's, when Russell's not running for his life and his ankle's not hurting, that is a very good sign. Because Atlanta does have a pretty good pass rush. They got some good defensive ends. So it's like, it wasn't like it was playing against a team who just had nobody, it was playing on turf too. Usually the defenders have a pretty good jump off the line. So, I mean, thought he looked good. Receivers look good. Running game, we only had 20 rushes, I believe. But, I mean, they were productive rushes. But the passing game was just something we have, but this was like truly effective. Yeah. It wasn't like we're throwing because we have to. We're throwing because it was effective. And then Jamal Adams on defense is just – dude, that dude's a beast. Yeah. I'm just like – I mean, and he was bringing excitement where you see the other players getting excited. And that's the thing. That was a level of confidence. We had the Legion of Boom. We had all that defense back in the day. Were they the greatest ones in the league talent-wise? Debatable. We had some great players, but their energy they brought with each other, like Cam Chancellor, is he the best cover person out there? No, but when he laid a hit, it pumped the whole defense up, and it pumped the whole crowd up, and all of a sudden that lifts the whole defense. That's where that emotion comes back into. We're talking about earlier. It's just when somebody can lay the hammer on somebody, it just changes your whole defensive thought and mindset, because now you have a receiver scared to come across the middle because he's going to get lit up.
Yeah.
And Jamal Adams, man, he was making open field tackles on running backs. I mean, he had a couple good hits on Julio Jones, and that dude's a beast. So I was just like, then a couple other corners played really well. So I'm just like, hey, I mean, like I told you earlier, I don't want to get too excited, but man, that was the best start we've had to a season in a long time. And we've played a lot worse teams to start off the year and just played flat. So this is with no preseason games. It was like, how are you that on point with no practice really? Yeah. But I think it might be better not having the preseason there. I mean, it was just get out and play. But they were out of shape in the fourth quarter, both teams.
Yeah.
And I've been seeing that all through the whole league. It's just
that was everywhere. But Atlanta has that Julio Jones. Is that who that was?
Mm-hmm. Man, and Ridley, their other receiver. I mean, they both went over 100 yards. They're just
they got some good receivers on Atlanta. It's just we took over their defense a little bit, but they got a good team. I mean, it's Randy, you lost on Sunday, but I think you're going to win some. So
yeah, I mean, they threw for 450 yards. I mean, I was reading a stat that when quarterbacks throw for under 400 yards, they're 186, 86, and 6. Okay. Wow. When the Seahawks allow a 400-yard passer, the Seahawks are 8-0. So they totally throw that stat out the door. I'm just like, okay. I go the next 15 games, just make sure they pass for 400 yards. We'll go 16-0.
Yeah, no doubt. That's good. That's good. Well,
we might have lost everybody here. Nobody's commenting anymore.
Yeah, I know. We're just talking about football, which we could do for 47 hours.
Yeah.
And then you just have to sleep a little and talk some more. But
yeah, exactly. I'm going to see if anybody's actually watching us.
Yeah.
Nobody on YouTube's watching us. Hi, guys.
Let's stop talking for about 5 minutes to see. But no, it's we
have 5 viewers. Thank you, 5 for being on. Yes.
That's good. Because those 5 are
6 now. All 6 of you say hi.
Yeah.
Post something so we know who you are.
Well, you said Rodney was the Steelers fan.
Yeah. Rodney is a Steelers fan. We have
Jordan. We know Jordan Seahawks.
Yeah. Mary was a Buffalo Bills fan.
Yep.
I don't know who else do I have in here.
I'm
gonna assume Penny. Please tell me if I'm wrong, but she's from Dallas, so I'm gonna assume a Cowboys fan if she's into football. Yeah, I don't know who the LinkedIn user is, but we'll call them a Seahawk fan.
Yeah. So we have majority Seahawk fans on this.
Yeah, we're not going to talk to Joe about sports. He doesn't.
That's right.
Yeah. Joe's not a big sports guy.
Joe likes that summer football season.
Yeah, and then my buddy Cash is a Seahawk fan. So yeah, I mean it's going. So
yeah, when you get around to it's like we've been penned up a little bit here, some of us in these places, and the no sports at all was pretty rough. I mean, there are a lot of people that hurt bad, and then we started to see the soccer come out with no friend or no fans, and heck, that was interesting. And then to watch the basketball and the hockey, how they've adapted into their little domes of play or whatever they're doing there, and just adapted to it. And baseball now even it's coming out pretty good.
I'm not a basketball fan, so when basketball's the only thing out, I was just like, this sucks. No offense to people like basketball, but the NBA stole the Sonics, and ever since they did that, I was like, I'm done with the NBA. It's been like 11 years. I was like, screw you guys.
So that basketball, 100%. I was at one Sonics game before they left, and I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. But the Kraken were getting real hockey.
Yep, I saw that.
So like the hockey that we've got, because watching the young kids play, I enjoy that. I really do. Pete was showed me he's got his Kraken jersey. So
Oh, nice.
he showed me his Kraken jersey, and that's a snazzy logo, good color.
I might do that because I was gonna come down here. When I got down here, I'm like, I'll just take on the Arizona Coyotes or Phoenix Coyotes, whatever they call them. And I'm like, well, now we got the Kraken. Maybe I'll just support that. And when they come down here, wear that jersey. You know, it's like I'm not a huge baseball fan either. I just don't like what Nintendo and everything did. They just kind of were their tax write off. But you know, I'm like, I'll support the Diamondbacks. When the Mariners come down, I'll wear a Mariner jersey to the game just to, just because I had good memories growing up with Griffey and all that stuff. So I mean, it was good on that. But I mean, like Seattle and UW, I mean, those are my teams. I'm never gonna leave them. I mean, it's just going to UW games when I was younger and just, being a part of that. It was just, a memory I'm always gonna have. So I'm not gonna lose that. But I'll support Arizona State down here till, like I said, UW comes because Herm Edwards, our coach. I just love Herm Edwards. If you guys have anybody out there, if you don't know who he is, Google him and watch. He is one of the most inspirational speeches he'll ever give. The dude is just amazing. So I just love listening to him talk. So
very cool.
Yeah, just a great guy. So I mean, just perfect somebody to build a program, and just he is truly turning young men or kids into young men. Yeah. That's what he is doing, and he's producing NFL talent. So, I mean, because he played in the NFL and coached for years. So, I mean, he knows what they need to do to get to that point. So, I mean, it's awesome watching that. And he's well respected in Arizona. I mean, he's all over the place. Yeah. So, it's really cool. So,
yeah. The thing that I'm always amazed about when I looked at, as players move up leagues, like you're going from junior high to high school to college to professional is in any sport is really the jump in how good the athletes are. And when you get to the very top, like we've got, I never met him, but my wife has a couple times. Some friends of ours in Portland, their son Bobby Dahlbeck just started playing for the Red Sox, I believe it is. And his first 5 games, he's got 5 home runs or something like that, something crazy like that, And these kids that we see and the level of jumps that you see in these kids as they grow and get, because most of the football players that are professional football players are not 30 years old. A lot of these guys are sitting there that are 23, 24 years old. And, for you or me, especially, you think back to that, those are kids. I mean, you're sitting there, there's a lot of learning to do yet. Mm-hmm. And watching them to grow and how those coaches shape their mind and really show them how to do what they need to do in the level.
Especially baseball, you'll get 18, 19-year-olds in the major leagues. Yeah. Now they're filthy rich. They're being told to go on the road and live in these hotels for 9 months out of the year. And a lot of them, if they're from smaller towns, really haven't left the region they're in. Yeah. Because they'll get drafted out of high school, and they're just thrown into the real world. Okay. And, that's the thing. I give kudos to some of these teams who make sure there's people there that are with them and everything, because I always tell people the real world does not like you. It'll chill you up and spit you out. It can care less about you. Yeah. It really can. So it's just, I don't care how much money you have. I've seen people with multi-millions go down to zero just because they can't handle the world works.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, so there's a few examples we could draw upon in professional sports where the people have just done stupid stuff, right?
Yep.
And they made more than 10 times more than enough in certain instances where they should have just paid somebody to keep them the hell out of trouble. And I don't mean to clean up afterwards, but I mean, if I had that much money and I had, a tendency to do stupid stuff, I would pay somebody bigger than me, tougher than me, whatever it took, that said, your job is to keep me out of trouble. Don't let me go there.
Yeah. And they need people to know how to manage their money right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the biggest thing there. Oh God, what NBA player was? He played for the Celtics for years. shit, I can't, Antoine Walker. I think so. He had 145 million he made in the NBA, and the dude's broke.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are you broke after making 145 million? I watched a show on him, and it was like, well, he had his entourage who was paying everything for them, giving them money, buying them cars, doing. I'm like, you're doing stupid stuff, man. I mean, then half these people, when you're broke, are they friends with you anymore? Hell no, they're off and gone. I mean, it's just, I mean, I notice a lot of the people, and I'm not saying everybody, who make it really well. They have a family member taking care of their money. They're having somebody close to them that they trust, not somebody who just walks off the street.
Yeah.
They don't have big entourages. I know it's fun. You want to do stuff with a lot of your boys, but like I always say, when you lose your money or you get in tough times, you really know who your true friends are.
Yeah.
You really do, and he was talking about, I don't have no friends hardly anymore. I don't have this. I'm like, because they only liked you because they knew back in junior high and high school, you were 6'5", 6'6". You were dunking all over the place. They knew you're going to college. They knew you're going to the pros. So they were hanging on because they knew they were going to get something out of you. And there's people like that. But that's the real world. And people don't want to believe that, but it is true. I mean, people just laugh. It's like people in business. I don't know if you come across it. You probably talk to owners that had two people working there, and all of a sudden somebody was embezzling taxes and everything, and they take off. Now they're in trouble, and now they have to call Exit Your Way to come help them to sell their business and get them out of trouble because they don't know what to do because they were dependent on that one person so much.
Yeah.
And it just sucks. So you like how I plugged you in there really quick? Exit Your Way can help you out with that situation. Give them a call.
That's funny. That's funny, but it's not funny because there are a lot of situations where people get in that. That's for sure. But so what's good? What's good happening in the world that we should talk about?
What's good happening in the world? Things are starting to come back around. Like we talk about sports. Sports is good. Businesses are starting to pick up. I know some are still down, but business are going good. So I love that. I mean, I think people are starting to get out more. So a lot of the depression stage is starting to go, because it did. I think we talked about this too. It got bleak there for a little bit. You're talking about, I just need to get up. I kind of live out in the country road. I walk up and down our road. I just need to get out because, it was really funny, Damon, when the restaurants first opened in Arizona. Me and my wife went to one. We were out there the first night, and we got done eating. And I just told her, I go, okay, we don't have to go out again. She kind of looked at me. I go, it's just because somebody told me I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Now I can do it. It's fine. I mean, we can stay at home and make dinner all we want now. I go, I just had in the mindset because we're brought up, we live in a free country. I can do what I want. And all of a sudden now I can't do anything. I go, no, that's not how this works,
Well, so. Yeah. That's a big part of it, but you're right.
It's just a mindset. That's all it was. It was just a mental mindset, and it's so hard to, everything that happened in the last 6 months happened so fast. You can prepare yourself to get into something, but when something happens that fast, it's like the company gets up and closes and doesn't tell anybody and puts a sign on the door.
Yeah.
You got all those employees now are like, oh crap, I didn't see this coming. I got to get another job now. What do I do? Who do I call? Who do I go for? It's like, it was kind of like that. It was just kind of like, boom. It's like, huh? At least have us prepare for it, and there's nothing. So that's another thing in the real world. Eats you up, spits you out, because it just doesn't care. But there's a positives coming. I'm starting to see people smiling more. I'm starting to see people out exercising more. I think people are tired of things, so they're just starting to get back to their normal life. But life's going good, on that aspect for me. I've been very fortunate through all this. We talked about it earlier. I made a transition to a new state, a new job during the middle of this pandemic.
Yeah, you're right, man. You were moving your shit in the middle of
man, it was just it was crazy. We ended up moving everything down here in April, middle of April. We got into our house April 28th down here, or in Arizona. I'm in Ohio right now. But it's just weird. It was weird times because we wouldn't stay in hotels. We slept in our car on the way down here. We made the trip in 2 days. it's what, 1,500 miles. So it was a lot of driving.
Oh, God,
Yeah. And just, it was weird, then our stuff being delayed coming down here 3 weeks because they're claiming on COVID and everything. So
Yep.
whatever. I called it an excuse because whatever, but it took 3 extra weeks.
Yeah.
So, love my parents to death, but me and my wife and my dog are living with my parents, and I'm like, we're in our 40s and we're living with my parents. It's like, oh man, but God bless them, they took care of us, and it was it was nice, but it was nice to get our house too. It's nice to have your little freedom, but things are going great. I know. How's Lene? How's Connor? How's all that going there?
Stuff. We got good stuff going on. I mean, it's if people are healthy, and we this time, I think, and a lot of people may or may not have used it this way, but we had family time. I mean, we had a lot of family time before you moved. I know you had some of that too with the kids and around the house and everything. And we spent a lot of time doing that. And we did a couple little kind of, weekend things where we went someplace and to the places where we could and did that, which helped an awful lot. But this year for me personally has been really positive. Like I said, the LinkedIn, and then the fact that COVID in some ways brought us together an awful lot, really, because of the video and Zoom and being able to talk with people and those kind of things. I know that there's a tremendous amount of hardship it caused, but there's also on the other side of this, you and I wouldn't be talking to some of the people we're talking to and about the things that we're talking about if it hadn't happened.
Yeah,
everybody would be too busy going on their own little rat trap or rat race, running down the road, doing their thing. And this threw everyone together in the same situation, everybody's dealing with the same shit. We all can't go anywhere. It doesn't matter how much money you got or don't have, you're probably stuck where you're at. And there was some good in that.
I did more puzzles than I think I've done my whole life during this thing, but like at my parents' house, my mom, my dad, my wife, and I, we'd sit down around a table and do puzzles together, and we got a couple at my house, when we went in our house, we did that. We played some card games. We had some close friends come over who lived around the area, so it was just doing stuff like that with them. And then our granddaughter came down for 7 weeks, so we got to spend time with her. And oh my God, Damon, let me. So Leslie comes down. Arizona was open. The day after she got down here, we closed. Oh, we did. We had plans to take her to the zoo, this place called Bearizona up by Sedona, where it's a big bear, like a safari. So we're going to take her up there, and everything closes. We're like, oh. So trying to entertain a 7-year-old when everything's closed is not fun. Especially a hyper one.
And 110 degrees or whatever it was.
It was a couple of those days. I mean, when she was here, it got up to 120, I believe, 119, 120. So it's like, no, we ain't going nowhere. And then she then we brought her mom and the new granddaughter down, who's 8 months now. So brought her down, surprised her that she was going back home, but her mom was sitting on the porch and everything, so it was kind of cool. So then we got to see our other granddaughter, who we only saw for 3 months, before we moved. So that was kind of nice to spend some time with that. So I think when you said family time, you hit it dead on there. It was, I spent a lot of time with my parents, with 2 of my brothers a lot. It was nice to be able to see them, like my one brother's been in Arizona for 8 years. So, I've been spending a lot of, even now, I mean, we've been spending a lot of time with her. Most we've seen each other in a long time. So it's been very positive. And we live on the same street. He lives like 6 houses down. So, it's kind of cool. So, it's, and it wasn't planned that way. It just happened to be the house we found. It was like, hey, wait, isn't this Brian's street? And it was. I was like, wow. So it's crazy. But no, I mean,
it's good stuff.
And I don't want, I hope everybody's doing good out there, and I hope everybody's doing well. And this is not a brag thing. I'm very I'm just very fortunate and blessed that things have been going the right way, and my wife and I talk about it a lot, and we talk about how we can't take this for granted. We can't do any of that because everything could be gone tomorrow. So we're very just, very mellow, very appreciative of everything that comes along, things people have done for us, the support. I mean, she's a huge supporter of this podcast. She goes back and watches it, and it's just awesome. And she gets her friends to watch, and we send them to the kids all the time to watch. So and they tell their friends. So it's kind of cool, so it's been a lot of fun.
It's the All Things Gratitude podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not grateful. Why, and when you, and anyone, really, anyone can be grateful for something. I mean, when your feet hit the floor in the morning, that's the time to be grateful. You're waking up. You got a chance.
Absolutely.
If your eyes open up, you got a chance. You got a chance to change whatever you want to change in your life. If your eyes open up, start there. Everything else is downhill, man.
So Damon, we've hit the 1 hour mark, and I always try to end these in a half hour. So obviously we have blown that out of the water.
Well, we start talking about sports, and
I know. I mean, that was, it's like with Joe. It was like Joe, Ira, Curtis, Erica. We could have talked forever. Oh, the show with Erica was just off the chain because we were all over the place on that one. That was so much fun, and that's what I'm loving about this. No script.
Yeah.
I'll ask you to plug everybody. If you notice, I've asked to plug their company, what they do, I mean, because what's the point of having you on if I don't do that? And then after that, we can just get into hey, let's see where this goes, so, Damon, when you coming down to Arizona, man, bring the family down. I mean, you guys are more than welcome.
Well, we are. We've been talking about that. We've got a couple trips planned. Hopefully, next year that they're going to open stuff up because, I think we're going to be down there for spring baseball, and going to be we're going to go be in Mexico a bit before that.
Okay, cool.
Everything goes right, and we might stay there for a while. It's the one thing about doing virtual. Most of our work virtual now is you can go where you want, and as long as like you right now, you good internet connection, you can get your work done. And
absolutely,
I don't mind that at all.
Yeah. So, well, we're gonna wrap this up really quick. Tell everybody where they can find you, Damon, and different sites you're on and everything if they want to have.
Well, LinkedIn. I mean, look at my name. Hell, there's only one of me in the world. So if you look it up, good or bad, you're going to see me. And our website, www. Yes, I'm old. I still put the W's before it. Exityourway.us. Exityourway.us. They can find us there too.
Awesome. So everybody, please come find us on YouTube. And as my friend Erica would say, smash the bell. Yeah. So I appreciate that. You can find us on LinkedIn. Pretty little gifts going on here by Bowman Digital Media. I think the
Bowman Digital Media work going on up there.
Yeah, I think the owner of that company. So
I've heard of him. I've heard of him. Yeah.
So come find us there. I just want to say thank you everybody for watching. This one went long. Thank you for the 4 people still hanging in there. I see you up there on the screen, so appreciate that. Thank you for everybody who commented and stopped by. We'll be posting this again, and hey, tune in on Thursday. I will be in Memphis, Tennessee, live with Professor Pete Alexander. So come check that out.
Man, Memphis, that's a stomping ground.
Yep, I will be there. So I'm going to find some barbecue. I'm going to come back to the room, probably be in a coma.
Tell me where to go when we get off the phone here, because I get off the call here because I know where.
Talk to Pete, and he's going to make it stress relief, and I'm probably going to fall asleep after the food coma I'm in, but it's going to be fantastic. So Pete, be ready. I'm going to bring you out of your comfort zone on Thursday. It's going to be fun. I love Pete to death, so he's a great guy.
Good dude.
Another guy for the Pacific Northwest, so bam. So awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for being part of the show. Have a good night, everybody. We'll talk to you later.